Part 1. Some nights, under the dull hum of fluorescent lights in the barracks at Forward Operating Base Endurance, I'd find myself lost in a photo, Bridget's arms around Max and Lily on our tiny porch in Virginia. That 5x7 frame, scarred by Afghan dust, felt as battered as my marriage after years away. I ran my thumb along Bridget's grin, remembering when her laughter filled the house. Now, our video calls felt rushed, her reasons to hang up multiplying. 30 minutes, Donovan, move out, barked Sergeant Major Willis. I slipped the photo in my rucksack, armor back in place. At 35, with 14 years in Army intelligence and a reputation as the bloodhound, you learn to trust gut feelings. On my last leave, I'd noticed cologne I didn't use and receipts from towns Bridget never mentioned. You're paranoid, Roy, she'd sighed. Maybe so. Still, something wasn't right. On a mission to interrogate a suspected arms smuggler, I got a text from Bridget. Don't call, taking kids to mom's, bad signal. Her mom lived downtown, signal's perfect there. I knew she was lying. Days later, after a successful op, I opened the security feed Bridget didn't know about. The bedroom camera showed a man's jacket slung over my chair. At 2:14 a.m., Bridget entered with someone I'd never seen, pouring wine from our wedding set, laughing. I stared at the screen as he kissed her, even as they moved to the bed, my bed. I hit record, my mind switching from husband to investigator. Lewis Frost, my best friend and comms wizard, watched as I encrypted my files. You sure you want to do this, man? Not making a move until I have proof, I said, scanning through data. Never thought I'd see you run recon on your own family, he muttered. For weeks, between patrols, I combed through our joint accounts, flagged hotel charges, pulled up phone logs. The truth was relentless. Perry Wexler, pharma sales, moved in after my second tour. He volunteered at Max's school, joined Bridget's gym, even the book club. Security cameras caught him in our house 36 times, sometimes with the kids asleep upstairs. Worse were the recordings. Bridget curled up with Perry in my chair, whispering about custody and how courts always side with moms. He chose the Army over us, she told him. He'll never know unless I want him to. But Perry's record stank of fake identities and money trails leading offshore. My clearance let me dig deeper. Perry wasn't just some cheater. He was a professional, using Bridget as a cover. I showed Lewis. His face drained. Roy, he's after more than your wife. You think he's connected to what we're tracking? I nodded. Not just my family, national security. I requested emergency leave for family reasons, technically true. Colonel Barrett met my eyes. You've got 30 days and covert resource access. Don't act out of anger. Trust the facts. A cold rain followed me to a cheap motel a few blocks from home. For 48 hours, I ran surveillance, set new cameras, called in old favors. By the end, my worst suspicions were confirmed. Perry was really Pavel Resnick, an operative targeting military families for intel. He'd done it before, 3 soldiers in 5 years. Always the same script. Seduce, divorce, stay close to the kids for scraps of classified info. I waited for the perfect moment. Bridget at work. Max and Lily just home from school. Max opened the door, eyes wide. Dad? You're back. Surprise change. Bud. I hugged him, Lily flying down the stairs to join us, tears bright in her eyes. For a little while, I let myself be their dad again, fixing snacks, listening to their stories. Have you met Mom's friend, Mr. Perry? Max asked. He comes over a lot, shows me how to pitch. I nodded, probing gently. Perry had been grilling them about my work, our home security. When Bridget's car and an unfamiliar Audi pulled in, I sent the kids out back and slipped inside, every step careful. From the kitchen, I heard laughter, Perry's low voice. I recorded everything as I walked in. The agreement looks good, Perry was saying. Once it's filed, we push for custody. His work keeps him away. As long as we show it's for the kids' stability, the court will side with us, Bridget answered. I stepped into the doorway, my voice cool. That's so? Bridget froze. Perry, ever the actor, stuck out a hand. You must be Roy. I ignored it. I've heard plenty about you, Pavel. His smile slipped for a split second. Bridget stammered. He's just helping with repairs. Is that what you call it? My tone didn't change. The kids are outside. We're going to talk, and when I return, you both will be gone. This is my house. It's ours, Bridget shot back. And I have evidence both the FBI and military intelligence will want to see regarding your friend, I said, voice steady. Perry's eyes narrowed. Careful, soldier. Jet lag can make you paranoid. 3 tours and 14 years teach you to see patterns. Pavel. Divorce if you want, but know what you're in before you go further. Bridget's glare didn't waver. Is that a threat? No, I answered. Just information. What you do with it is your call. Part 2. As we left for dinner at Freddy's, I fired off a coded message to Colonel Barrett. Resnick confirmed. Moving to Phase 2. What followed felt like living inside a chess match. Just 2 days after I got back, divorce papers arrived, irreconcilable differences. Bridget's attorney, Veronica Slate, was notorious for going after military families. She wanted it all: the house, full custody, 70% of my pension. I called in Franklin Delacruz, a tough, battle-tested ex-JAG lawyer. After reviewing everything, he gave me a look I hadn't seen in years. This isn't just divorce. If you're right about Perry, your wife may be wrapped up in espionage. She's manipulated, I admitted. But if she's legally complicit, I need to know. And a lot of my evidence won't hold up in family court. Franklin nodded. So, 2 tracks, one for court, one for the feds. Use the divorce as cover. Exactly, I said. Let them think I'm just fighting for my kids, while we work the real case underneath. The first hearing was set for September 15th. I moved into a tiny apartment but made sure I had equal parenting time. The kids were confused. Bridget let Perry sleep over almost immediately. Why can't you stay with us, Dad? But Mr. Perry can. Max asked. Sometimes adults make tough choices, I told him, keeping my voice steady. It's never your fault. I'll always be here. Off the books, my investigation kept rolling, now with a small team of intel specialists. Perry's pattern was clear. He'd targeted at least 3 other military families, always picking those with access to classified intel, always engineering a divorce, and then sticking close as a stepdad. Kids talk. They share stories, repeat things, show what they find. It was subtle and dangerous. We're working to ID his handler, Morales, our cyber guy, said. We've traced payments to a Delaware shell company, but here's the kicker. Large deposits are going straight to your wife's new private account. The betrayal cut deeper than any deployment. Bridget wasn't just manipulated, she was being paid. The money lined up with my deployments and clearance upgrades. I confronted her during a custody handoff. Why are foreign funds hitting your private account? You're spying on me? She snapped, glancing at Perry in the car. That's illegal. Is it more illegal than selling access to military secrets? I replied quietly. That's what the evidence says. She shook, but stuck to her story. Investments, just investments. For the kids' sake, think carefully, I whispered. Perry honked the horn, and her face iced over. The judge will hear about your paranoia. Enjoy visitation while it lasts. Slate filed motions accusing me of instability and PTSD, never diagnosed, but enough to get us both ordered into psych evaluations. The federal case picked up speed. My military contacts linked Pavel Resnick to actual foreign intelligence networks. We just needed to catch him in the act. 3 days before the hearing, Colonel Barrett sent an encrypted message, handler ID'd. Hold your cover. That evening, making dinner, Max's question chilled me. Dad, is it bad if I told Mr. Perry about your special computer? He wanted to know where you keep your work stuff. I kept it calm. What did you tell him? Just that you have a locked cabinet in your office for your special laptop. He said it was for a surprise. I hugged Max tight. That's not bad at all, buddy. Inside, my mind raced. They were desperate, and it was time to move. September 15th, the courthouse bust. I arrived in full dress uniform, medals gleaming, a move Franklin warned against. They'll claim you're playing for sympathy, he said. I'm not hiding who I am, I replied. Bridget showed up with Perry and Slate, both dressed for a magazine cover. Veronica objected right away. Your Honor, Sergeant Donovan is manipulating the court with military theater. Judge Holbrook shot that down. He has every right to wear his uniform. Overruled. Slate painted me as an unstable, absent father, accusing me of stalking and making wild claims. Mrs. Donovan's been the caregiver while Sergeant Donovan chose repeated deployments. His allegations against Mr. Wexler are unfounded and alarming. Franklin's turn. My client served 3 deployments, supporting his family from across the world. He returned to discover not just betrayal, but possible national security breaches. Objection, of course. Judge Holbrook cut Franklin off. Unless your evidence affects these children, stay on custody. It does, Franklin said calmly. Mr. Wexler is not who he claims. He presented discrepancies in Perry's records, sticking to what was legally admissible. The room bust. Bridget looked rattled. Perry kept his cool. On cross, Veronica grilled me about surveillance. I installed cameras for our family's safety, I answered. My wife was aware. Did you spy on her? I reviewed footage when unknown people accessed my home. She shifted tactics, pushing the PTSD angle. I've never been diagnosed. My threat assessment skills protect my family. Do you see your wife as a threat? I stared at Bridget. Anyone who endangers my kids is a threat. Testimony ended with character witnesses from both sides. Judge Holbrook, after reviewing the evidence, leaned toward primary custody for Bridget with generous visitation for me, just what they wanted. Then came my moment. Your Honor, I have a document to submit. It summarized the investigation into Perry's ties to foreign intelligence and traced the money to Bridget. Judge Holbrook's eyes widened. Nobody leaves. Bailiff, secure the room. Perry jumped up, protesting, but 4 MPs and 2 FBI agents entered as the courtroom froze. Part 3. As the lead FBI agent addressed the court, his words hit like a thunderclap. You are under arrest for espionage against the United States and for acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Veronica Slate, Bridget's lawyer, froze, her papers slipping from her hands. MPs moved in, cornering Perry before he could even think about bolting. He glanced desperately at Bridget. Tell them, Bridget. Say it's a mistake. He never got close. 2 MPs pinned his arms while the FBI recited his rights. Bridget just stood there, pale and silent as the truth crashed down. Mrs. Donovan, said another agent, please come with us for questioning about your involvement. She turned to me, her voice small. Roy, what is happening? I met her gaze, calm but cold. These are the consequences, Bridget. For all of us. Judge Holbrook banged the gavel. This hearing is suspended until the federal investigation concludes. Sergeant Donovan, I grant you emergency custody. As Perry was led away, he locked eyes with me. Gone was the salesman mask. Only Pavel Resnick's hard stare remained. In that instant, I saw what my kids had faced, a predator who'd used our family as cover. Outside, Colonel Barrett was waiting. Clean operation, Donovan. Thank you. My kids are safe? At school. You can pick them up yourself. This isn't over, sir. Resnick's network runs deep. Barrett nodded. We'll keep you posted. Stay vigilant. I straightened up, every inch a soldier. No one gets near my family again. The story exploded in the news, foreign agent arrested in espionage scandal. Media vans camped outside our house, forcing me and the kids to relocate to a secure military compound for a while. Bridget wasn't arrested that day but was held for days of FBI grilling. The investigation found she'd received more than $200,000 in disguised payments, consulting fees, investment returns, timed perfectly with my deployments and security upgrades. 2 weeks later, Agent Diana Walsh briefed me. We believe Bridget knowingly accepted money for information, maybe not fully understanding it was espionage, but still complicit. She's cooperating now. That could help with sentencing, but federal time is likely. Outwardly, I kept my usual composure. Inside, I was torn apart. Betrayal ran deeper than our marriage. She'd sold out our family, our country. The hardest part was helping Max and Lily understand. Is Mom a bad person? Lily whispered through tears. Your mom made terrible choices, I said softly. But she still loves you. But she helped a bad man hurt you, Max said, eyes angry and lost. People are complicated, son. Sometimes they do awful things without realizing just how wrong it is. I wasn't sure I even believed that anymore. The new custody hearing was a formality. Bridget's lawyer quit. Her parents, devastated, hired a specialist in both criminal defense and family law. Bridget appeared in prison garb, denied bail as a flight risk. No trace of the confident woman who once demanded everything. Judge Ortiz, assigned after Holbrook recused herself, was blunt. This is an extraordinary situation. The court must weigh criminal allegations with the best interests of the children. Bridget's new attorney pleaded for supervised visits. Franklin Dela Cruz countered, presenting evidence that Bridget had coached the children to gather intel for Perry. Max testified by closed circuit. Mom gave me treats when I told her about Dad's work. She said it was a game. Lily's therapist reported anxiety and attachment issues stemming from betrayal and sudden loss. Judge Ortiz ruled, full legal and physical custody to me. Bridget would get only supervised monthly visits after psychological evaluation and parenting classes. The house and most assets went to me. She kept only personal effects in the clean portion of savings. Perry, now Resnick, faced life in federal prison. My intel had led to 15 more arrests, shutting down a spy ring that preyed on military families for nearly a decade. 6 weeks later, I was called to the Pentagon for a classified briefing. General Harrington, Director of Defense Intelligence, looked me in the eye. Your actions saved lives, Sergeant. You protected what matters most. We want you on the new Military Family Security Unit, stateside, non-deployable, regular hours. I hesitated. My children need stability. They've lost their mother already. That's exactly why we want you here. Review the offer. Back home, sitting on our deck, I watched Max and Lily laugh in the living room. I could keep protecting others and be present for them, too. A message buzzed in Agent Walsh. Resnick's talking. He claims there are more sleeper agents in military communities. He wants to see you. I texted back. I'll be there. 0900. A year later, life looked different. Morning routines, packed lunches, and slow healing. Max, now 13, taller and in junior ROTC, slid a permission slip my way. Science Museum, Dad. Lily, 10, was calmer, thanks to therapy, but sometimes still crept into my bed after nightmares. Can we visit Mom this weekend? Max asked. Same as always, Saturday at 11. You don't have to go, Lily. She shook her head. Not this time. That's okay, sweetheart. It's your choice. Just then, my secure line buzzed. Resnick requesting meeting. Urgent. Max watched me, worried. Everything all right, Dad? Just work, buddy. Go get your shoes. You'll miss the bus. After they left, I headed to the base. The new unit had already exposed 3 more spy cells since last year. Barrett, now a general, was waiting. Resnick's coming in. Says he'll only talk to you. Why me? Walsh shrugged. Could be real intel, or just mind games. I nodded, jaw set. I know what he's capable of, and I won't let it happen to another family. Part 4. Barrett leaned in, serious. Donovan, you don't have to do this. You've already given enough. For a moment, I considered declining. Life had finally settled. Work was meaningful. The kids were recovering, and I was finally present. But the idea of other families being blindsided like mine steeled my resolve. I'll take the meeting, but on my terms. The secure interview room was stripped bare, cold metal table, bolted chairs, nothing but echoes. I read through Resnick's file as he shuffled in, prison-worn and older, the slick salesman gone. Staff Sergeant Donovan, he said, accent exposed. Or is it Lieutenant now? No games, I said flatly. You wanted this. Talk. He watched me, always calculating. How are the kids? Max must be in middle school. Lily's still scared of storms. My jaw clenched. You don't get to ask about them. This ends if you don't have intel. Resnick's thin smile didn't touch his eyes. That's why you caught me. There's an op in Norfolk, 3 assets, targeting Harrison, a sub-tech officer. I jotted notes, revealing nothing. He tried to bargain. Names are easy. I want something. Contact with Bridget. Just letters screened. Not happening. He pressed. We loved each other. You know, not all of it was an op. Save it, I replied. You targeted her because she was vulnerable. He tried twisting the knife, but I didn't flinch. If you've got nothing else, we're done. As I stood, Resnick blurted, Michael Turner, sailing instructor at Norfolk Marina, check his past. I paused. Keep talking. He spilled for an hour specifics on Norfolk, San Diego, Pensacola. The intel was checkable and valuable. Why now? I asked. He shrugged. They tried to kill me last month. I'm no longer useful. I just want the letters. I'll verify the info. If it's real, I'll consider the request. He added quietly, she never stopped loving you. She just couldn't handle the loneliness. I left, not giving him the satisfaction of a response. Later, Walsh confirmed Resnick's info was legit. We need you in Norfolk tomorrow. Harrison's daughters have lessons with Turner. After I drop the kids at school, I'll be there. Watching Max and Lily playing in the yard, I considered Resnick's request. The idea of him writing to Bridget sickened me, but denying crucial intelligence out of spite wasn't right. A text from Bridget's monitored account appeared. Max says he might not come Saturday. Everything okay? He's conflicted. Lily's not coming this month, I replied. She answered quickly. Thank you for not turning them against me. I didn't reply. The reality was messier than she knew. I never tried to poison them against her, not out of forgiveness, but because they needed to work through things on their own. Dad, come play. Lily called, waving. I pocketed my phone, joining them. For a few hours, thoughts of Resnick and national security faded. 2 years after the courtroom fallout, life had found its new normal. The kids thrived, the nightmares mostly gone. My work expanded to training other military families, helping them spot threats before it was too late. Bridget had served 3 of her 8 years, hoping for early release due to cooperation. Visits were supervised, usually coordinated through Mrs. Harding when I was away. Resnick's Norfolk tip led to 5 arrests. His intel kept proving useful, so the Bureau grudgingly allowed him to send censored letters to Bridget. I wasn't consulted, just informed. One October morning, I got an urgent call from Walsh headquarters. Now, problem with Resnick. It involves Bridget and the kids. Blood pounding, I drove straight in. Walsh, Barrett, the warden, and 2 FBI techs were waiting. A specialist pulled up messages. Here's the monitored mail between Resnick and your ex-wife. Seemed harmless. He pulled up a second set. This is what was really sent, steganographic code, hidden inside the text. They talked about your work, your schedule, and the kids. How did we miss this? I asked. Advanced coding. AI just caught it. Resnick taught her the technique. One decoded message froze me. Max mentioned our new girlfriend works in nuclear program. Need her name and access. She'd used visits to gather intel from the kids. All communication privileges are revoked, Barrett declared. Bridget's moving to max security, no contact, but legal. Resnick loses all privileges. Walsh added, we need to know what's been shared. The kids will need to be questioned. No, I said. I'll handle the first conversation, psychologist present. That evening, I sat down with Max and Lily. I need to ask about Mom's visits. You're not in trouble. Lily glanced at Max. She asks if you're happy. If you're dating. Does she ask about work? Max hesitated. She asks about Laura. Wants to know what she does at the base. Part 5. Max's voice wavered. I just said she works with computers. That's all I knew. Laura Phillips, a cybersecurity specialist at MFSU, had been in Roy's life for 6 months now. Her classified work touched nuclear defense. One more reason Roy felt uneasy. What else? Roy pressed gently. She asked if I'd ever seen your work papers or overheard phone calls. Max admitted, guilt flickering across his face. I told her about your office safe. I didn't think it was a big deal. Roy forced himself to stay calm. Did she ever ask you to look for anything or tell her my schedule? Lily piped up. She always wanted to know when you're traveling. She said it was so she wouldn't call when you're gone, but she wrote it down every time. Piece by piece, Roy saw the pattern. Innocent questions adding up to something dangerous. Both children, trying to please their mother, had given away more than they knew. Roy took a deep breath. There's something hard I need to tell you. Mom was sharing this information with Perry. Max's eyes widened in shock. But he's in prison. How? They've been writing letters. Turns out, they were using secret codes. Lily started crying. But Mom said she was sorry. She said Perry tricked her. Roy wrapped his arms around her. Sometimes people make choices we can't understand. Sometimes they're confused about right and wrong. Max's voice hardened. So we can't visit her anymore? Not for now. She's being moved. When things settle, we'll decide as a family. Lily buried her face in Roy's shirt. I don't want to see her anyway. She's still lying. Roy met Max's gaze, seeing a young man forced to face betrayal too soon. I'm sorry. You both deserve better. That night, after the kids were asleep, Roy sat in his office reviewing the footage for investigators. Walsh messaged, Bridget requesting emergency call children. Advised to refuse. Roy stared at the screen. Bridget had betrayed him, her country, and now her own kids, twice, using their trust as a weapon. He replied, understood. No contact except via attorney. Setting the phone down, his eyes fell on a school essay of Max's. My father is a hero not just for serving in the military, but for protecting people even when it hurts. When everything fell apart, he made sure we knew it wasn't our fault and built us a new life. That's what real heroes do. Roy's chest tightened with pride and sorrow. He would soon seek to end Bridget's parental rights, unwilling to risk his children again. 5 years later, Roy watched Max, now 19, graduate high school. Lily, 16, filmed the ceremony, strong and resilient after years of therapy. Max's speech, full of resilience and truth, never named his mother, but everyone felt her absence. The children no longer carried Bridget's surname, a change that came after her rights were terminated for further espionage attempts. At dinner, Roy's phone buzzed. Pavel Resnick, convicted spy, found dead in custody, apparent suicide. He shared the news silently with Laura, now his wife. They both understood loose ends and intelligence work rarely tied themselves. Max, packing for the Air Force Academy's cyber division, noticed Roy's expression. "Everything okay, Dad?" Roy smiled. "Nothing to worry about anymore. Just work." Later that night, Lily entered his office. "Mom's lawyer emailed. She wants to see me before college. Says she has things to tell me in person." Roy kept his face neutral. "What do you want to do?" Lily's voice was steady. "I think she's still manipulating. But part of me wonders if seeing her would finally close that chapter." "That's your choice. Remember, closure doesn't always come from others. Sometimes you have to find it in yourself." Lily nodded. "You never got closure, did you?" "I found it," Roy said, "by building a safe home, doing work that matters, and living by truth. I never regretted protecting you and Max." Lily reflected, then said, "I'll decline. Not out of anger, but because I don't believe her motives have changed. I won't be used again." Roy felt pride mixed with sadness for the hard lessons his daughter had learned. Later, with Laura beside him, Roy thought about the fortress he'd built, not walls, but trust, truth, and boundaries. The network where Snick ran was gone, the MFSU stronger than ever, and his family healing. The final update pinged his phone. "B. Donovan, transfer complete. Maximum security, communications blackout per court order." Bridget would live with her choices, cut off from the children she once tried to exploit. In the morning, Roy helped Max load the car for the academy, ready to watch Lily begin her senior year. Their family's future would be built not on betrayal, but on hard-earned trust and unshakable principles. Outside his fortress, there'd be no second chances for those who had tried to use his loved ones as weapons ever again. The end.